Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the SharinGANG podcast. I am Clockwork Nerd, and as always, I am joined by...
that guy.
And PC64.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going over just the anime, manga, and gaming stuff that we've been getting into again recently.
The good shit.
All the good shit.
It's a bit of a... No, I like to think of it as a recap episode.
A catch-up,
Our anime and gaming series. Yes, exactly that. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. It's almost like a catch-up between ourselves, including you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the question is, what have you been up to, Clockwork? What have you been on? Have you been watching any animes? Have there been any manga? What's cracking?
I'm not really a manga guy. I'm not gonna lie. It's something I've always wanted to get into, but I enjoy watching anime too much. And if I'm gonna dedicate time to one, it's gonna be anime.
It's fair.
It's just what I do.
I'd like to maybe,
go on,
not too rudely, correct you and say you're not a manga guy yet. Yeah, I don't think that's a complete sentence about a yet at the end of it.
Okay.
I'd definitely be behind that.
That's fair. These guys are trying to convert me, and they may very well win, like they always do when trying to convert me to things.
I mean,
it's not a victory for us; it's a victory for you, bro.
So true. So true. So true. With maybe a couple of party poppers behind the back. I mean, that guy. But regardless,
we'll proud nod to each other, won't we? Like,
yeah. If anything, it's gonna be one of them. Yeah, just proud.
Fair.
So what anime have you been on to, though, mate?
What have I been watching? You know what I've got into at last, because Beth's been nagging me about it for about 2 years now.
Oh yeah.
Soul Eater.
Oh, is that?
Finally started watching Soul Eater.
Isn't that? It's an old school anime.
It is an older one.
From the same guy who made.
Was it Fire Force? He's
Fire
done
Force,
recently.
That's the one. Yeah. That's it.
Do you know what? I really like his animation style. The animation style used in that. It's just fun.
I've just given it a quick Google. I've recognized it from the old. I was going to say from a while ago when I was into my manga more heavily. It was one that the website I used to try and force me to read because everybody else was. So.
To be fair, I nearly had the fire and pitchforks outside my house when when people on stream realised that I'd not watched Soul Eater and they were ready for blood.
Do you know what? I can recommend it. It is pretty damn good. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. From what I've watched so far, it's been quite enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, it's not like top tier anime, but it is definitely an enjoyable story, and it's an enjoyable premise as well. Yeah, to be fair.
Oh yes, I'm looking at more of. Sorry, is it like the guy with the little finger guns in it? He uses the little. Is the guy with the black and white hair?
Oh
yeah. I've seen like cells from mangas where he's shooting pistols with his little fingers.
He holds his guns upside down for some weird reason that triggers me ever so slightly.
Because
I just like it. It's so stylish. Yeah.
He's edgelord, mate.
He's literally the ultimate edgelord. He is Death's son. He's cannot get more edgier than Death the Kick.
Amazing. So, Clockwork, for people who aren't familiar with Soul Eater, what's the general premise?
So essentially, Death has set up an academy to train people in collecting souls.
Incredible.
And they go around collect not human souls, but corrupted souls. I can't remember what they call them. It's one of those words that just escapes me. But they go around collecting those, and once they've collected like 99 of them and one witch soul, the weapon that they use becomes one of Death's ultimate weapons.
All right, okay. That sounds pretty sweet, to be fair.
The thing is as well, the weapons that they use, so they're in teams of 2. You've got the Meister, I think they call them, so the weapon user, and the weapon. Well, the weapon is also a person who transforms into their weapon. So they're their own character with their own personality, their own shit going on. And it's just a really cool dynamic. It's an interesting concept I don't think I've seen done anywhere else.
No, it doesn't sound similar to anything else I've really come across.
No, I'm thinking one of the Espada. Weren't their pistols like?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Say
pistols,
no more. Yeah,
that was it. That's the only time. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
But it
absolutely.
It's really cool. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's one of those nice anime you can chill to.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Casual watch.
Yeah, I had to nip them pistols in the bud there, boy.
You drop a spoiler.
I'm going to say the Clockwork saying, that's why I confirmed it and nipped that bad boy in the bud.
Yeah, I am so bad. Fucking hell, sorry, man.
Yeah, no, but it's all good. That's the kind of thing that'll just go. Do you know what I mean? Because none of like anything you said will really like land or like. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially the words you use, the names and stuff. It doesn't land. So we're good.
That's fine.
We're good.
There's some terrific voice actors in it.
Yeah,
it's your stereotypical, like the same guys who voice act everything. Right, it just is.
Well, that familiar sound.
Yeah, it is. About having the same voice acts over and over again, you just get used to them and you just enjoy hearing them.
The more unique ones, I don't know why. There's just like a little. I feel like it's a nod to the fans whenever you pick up like a popular voice.
Yeah.
Like Ichigo, I came across his voice in Naruto. I was like,
oh man, no.
Yeah.
That was the worst casting for that voice.
Yeah, definitely. It didn't work, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, there's a nod to the Bleach fans. I'm like, well, it's not really that at all. You know what I mean? I feel like, it's a multiverse theory. It's no longer fan fiction, but obviously it's in sweet dreams in my head.
That guy. See, the thing is my issue with that kind of thing is because, I mean, I was introduced to him as Ichigo, like that voice actor, and that's who he was, and that's who he always will be to me. Yeah. But the thing is, I wouldn't have had nearly as much of an issue as the same guy voicing Sasori if it wasn't Ichigo.
Is that the same?
The voice was exactly the fucking same. Like it wasn't slightly deeper, it wasn't gravelly, it was Ichigo. It was the same voice.
When he got fired up, it was almost like they just took cuts of Bleach out and used those. It was that point. I feel like he was trying to be slightly different when he was calmer, but it didn't work. But I don't know if that's because I watched all of it because I'm such a fan of it. I don't know if that was my mind playing tricks on me, or is it incredibly similar? You know what I mean? It's the Malcolm in Middle's dad.
Yeah.
Or is it Heisenberg? Like, you know what I mean?
Obviously. Always.
These kids these days, they just know him as Heisenberg, innit?
Yeah, it's so true. But but he's not.
No, he's Malcolm's dad.
But we know that he is absolutely.
He's stood there in the kitchen reading a newspaper, getting his back shaved. All right.
Have you not seen that special they did? I don't know. It wasn't a full episode. I think it was just a little skit where it's Malcolm in the Middle's dad. He's in bed with his mum, and he wakes up and like, I just had a mad dream, and I was this mad drug dealer, and it's canon. It was all a dream. Get out of here.
Amazing. Yeah, it turns out that the whole of Breaking Bad was just a dream from fucking Malcolm in the Middle. So good. Yeah.
Speaking of Malcolm in the Middle, real quick, have you heard they might be doing a reboot?
Really?
Well, not a reboot, a new series of it rather. Like same cast, just older. No, a new series.
Yeah, same people. It'd have to be. You can't replace someone like Dewey. You just can't.
You really can't, can you? He's too good.
It would mess with people's mental health.
Yeah, too right. I mean, see, I would. The next question I would go on to ask would be, what game have you been into recently?
Well,
but I think I speak for all of us. I think I speak for all of us when it's maybe Genshin Impact,
maybe a little bit of Genshin, little bit.
Just a tickle. Yeah, I mean, yeah, life changing. You're taking over that life.
I didn't tell you, did I? I got a new character on Genshin.
Did you?
Yes. It's not Beidou. It's not fucking Beidou. It's never Beidou. It's it's the chick with the guitar. I forgot her name.
Xinyan.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
She's so good.
My most recent acquisitions have been Zhongli.
Yeah, I saw that one. I witnessed that one.
Xinyan.
Yeah.
Then I got Bennett.
Oh, you got Bennett? Nice.
And I got Chongyun.
Oh, Chongyun's so good.
Yeah, so I finally caught up by getting Chongyun, but I got Bennett out of the... it turned out that for finishing the battle pass, I got the final, like, regular Wish currency. I can't remember the name between them, the difference. But the blue ones instead of the pinkish ones.
Yeah.
I got the final one of those, like, for free, technically. It turned out that was my 10th one, and I got Bennett out of it.
Nice. Was that the 5-star guy?
No, Bennett is the 4-star fire sword user.
I saw you get. Was it a 5-star guy?
That was Zhongli, mate. That.
Yeah. I mean, I had you. I was just looking because I was working, but Tom Clockwork was watching you. And I could just hear. I was like, okay, I need to quickly tab over and just see what's going on. I don't even understand what happened because obviously I'm not as deep into the game as you two are. Yeah. I'm like, I know something epic has happened. I don't quite understand why it's epic, but I'm so pleased for this guy right now. Just look at him.
You can just hear that inside. Holy shit! I think I got up out of my chair.
You did, mate. You did. It was hands on head. Like you looked like you just ran a marathon after celebrating.
Mate, honestly, like as Clockwork will tell you, getting the the different banners that you get, as they're called, that you do your wishes from, the main like top 5-star character from that is not easy to get.
No.
Like it's really not easy to get, and to say that was probably legitimately it can't have been more than like 20 wishes into that banner before I just got him. And like I say, he's an amazing. Yeah, it literally was. I think I got Xinyan then him, didn't I?
Yeah, I think there might have been one in between, but it was pretty much.
It was both side by side. Yeah, both side by side, and I've ended up getting like a couple more razors out of it as well to like up the constellation.
I want some Chongyuns out of it. I need some.
Man, yeah, it has definitely been kind to me recently.
It's not been kind. I finally broke and spent £5 on Genshin, and I got nothing out of the packs I opened. I got a bunch of weapons, and I'm like 3-star weapons as well. Every pack, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a waste of a £5.
Yeah, man, it has been good to me. I've got to say, it's locked and loaded on the phone, ready for me going away. So I can still do my dailies.
Still do
my dailies.
Let's before we fully weeb off on it, because it's one that we're all gonna gush over.
Very true. Very true.
Definitely. You know, thank you, PT, for that. If I don't remember to thank you later on, but I'm very interested to hear what you've been up to in the world of Weeb, PT, because I know you've jumped back into manga a bit more than anime. And it's a decision I've been looking to make. Am I going to progress anime, progress manga?
Man.
So I'd like to hear what you've been up to, bro.
Man, fully. I'll be honest. I've not watched any anime now for a bit. For at least a couple of weeks. Like I think the last time genuinely was going back over the Land of Waves.
Yeah.
I think that was honestly the last time, because I've just been hitting up that Shonen Jump. I've just been hitting that manga. I started because as you guys know, I think I did previously speak about it on a previous podcast. I can't remember if I did, but I finally went through and completed Demon Slayer. So I read all the way through Demon Slayer, finished that off. Much shorter than I expected it to be. I really did expect Demon Slayer to go on for a lot longer. I expected it to be up there with like Naruto and Bleach, in terms of like arc after arc. But regardless, fantastic. And I was umming and ahhing on what to jump into next. And I landed on One Punch Man.
Oh.
And I decided, like, I was just like, you know what? Like, it's something that I only had a chance to watch the first season of. I loved it.
Yep.
It was, like, so unique in that regard. Like, just from straight off the bat, he's gnarly, you know, just for so long, and just how his character is and the comedy of it. I love it. It's fantastic. It definitely deserves.
Saitama's amazing.
He's like, it deserves, man, yeah. Saitama's just such an incredible character, and so there's so many other incredible characters as well.
Yeah.
That as it progresses on, really get the limelight. Like, Saitama might, like, pop in here and there to, like, a chapter, but for the most part, I promise you, when it gets there in the anime, you will have episodes without him. Unless they just slot him in there.
They'll probably just slot him in.
Yeah, because some of the fights, like, are just epic. And I have to say, like, I've fully caught up with that, with One Punch Man. I've gone right up to, I think we're on about chapter 135 at this point.
Wow. Sweating that manga life.
fully caught up with that. Absolutely phenomenal. Genuinely, there was not a single moment in reading that series so far, I can honestly say, that I felt it was trailing off. It was lackluster. I wasn't enjoying the direction. It has just been 10 on 10, fucking solid. Some of the best drawing and artwork I've ever seen. Just outstanding. I can't recommend it enough. I just can't. It's just outstanding.
You mentioned this in the group chat, how that the not animation obviously, but the artwork,
the drawing.
Yeah, the drawing is so good in One Punch Man. And I remember back when the anime first come out, and the anime weebs on YouTube were going crazy for it. A few people were complaining that the anime doesn't match up to the manga.
It doesn't,
even in animation quality. And one of them got the cells of a fight scene and turn it into a flip book. And if you watch the flip book, it looks like it's better animation than when you watch the anime. I'm like, that's
I have
insane.
never. Of all the things that of all the manga that I've read, of all the anime that I have watched, I have never seen such incredible visual representation of sheer force and pressure. When you're seeing fights between certain heroes and this, that, and the other, I've never seen you'll flick over and it's just someone getting punched or someone getting blasted, and the you can feel the pressure. Do you know what I mean? You're almost holding your breath watching it.
You usually get from reading it. Spreads in our animes when you turn the pages there.
Panel by panel by panel, it's just outrageous. It's just in such fluid motion. It's completely still images, but it's when people say, when they show you that whole sort of comedy thing of pictures you can hear.
Yeah.
That's literally what it's like. But it's pictures you can fucking see in motion.
We've said this before about manga. When you recall what you read, it's animated in your head.
Yeah, for 100%. It literally moves like I've watched it. This is why I've said to so many people who are like, no, the fights are better because you get to see them animated. No, you don't understand. So do you get to see it by reading it? Because you flick over it, and then when you go back and think about what you've just read, your brain turns it just like you said.
Yeah.
Just like you said, dude, it turns it into a flip book in your mind. And you see the full fucking action. You see it all happening. And I'll be honest, I was gutted when I finished, when I caught up. When I fully caught up and there was no more it's not even that feeling of, I've put it to bed, I've read it, I'm gutted it's over, but it's incredible. Catching up to where the author's got to is heartbreaking.
Yeah, I remember that. When I used to read manga a lot.
Brutal.
Perhaps it's not the same with anime, for instance, finished the first season of Demon Slayer.
There's nowhere to go. You can't turn to the manga for respite. No.
I don't feel as much on a cliffhanger when I'm watching anime as when I'm reading manga. If you know what I mean? You could watch the same episode, finish the same chapter. If I watch the anime, I'd be like, I wish the next one was here. When I was reading manga, I was like, I need to find out if this has been released somewhere already, and even if it's just been scanned on without it being translated on some dodgy website, just to see what's happening next, even though it's the same story.
You get people complaining about thinking fucking 20 minutes isn't long enough. Try 20 pages of a chapter.
This is what I said to you, Clockwork, and you was like, I don't really have the time. I'm like, well, then give up anime and read manga because it's so much. You can consume so much more of the story when you're reading it.
You've no idea. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Just to almost finish off my manga spree, if you will. Sorry, no, I'm just going to say I caught up fully with One Punch Man, and I'm currently on chapter. I'm gonna have to confirm. Hang on, it will take me a moment. I am currently on chapter 135, reading back through My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Okay.
So I just decided, I was like, I've caught up with One Punch Man. I have not nearly had my superhero-esque fill. What do I move on to next? And to be honest, it wasn't even just that. I was genuinely umming and ahhing what to move on to next. I was like, do I dive into Tokyo Ghoul? I've always wanted to read that because I really enjoyed the anime. You know, I really wanted to read that. There's a couple of other bits and bobs that have like caught my eye, you know, like anime that are out at the minute that's supposed to be like, you know, really up and coming, you know, that kind of thing. Ones that are like, you know, constantly in your face, read this. And I was really like back and forth, and I was just like, you know what? I really want to go back through My Hero because I caught up at a point that was fucking crippling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I got to the point where the author had got to just when it was horrendous. Like, it was, please don't do this. You know, you constantly like, how many more have I got left before I catch up? You know, that kind of thing. And thankfully now he's almost topping 300 chapters. Yeah. So I'm basically not even quite halfway through of what I've got to read. And I cannot wait to see what's coming because personally, and I know you definitely agree, Clockwork is a fucking phenomenal series.
I love My Hero so much. I can't wait for season 5 of the anime to drop. I really can't.
Man, seriously, like that is one, especially for, I know we've had this conversation because I have definitely stepped in for you guy here. Like when I've been on fucking Clockwork for being like, get on My Hero manga. Right? Stop fucking around and complaining to me about waiting a year and a half for another season. Just get on it.
Bro, do you not remember when you guys put me on, you and Ryan put me on to My Hero? He was talking about the anime. I just went ahead, read the manga, and you guys are talking about like, I know what happens next, and you're not gonna believe it. It's insane. And then obviously, I stopped reading it. The anime's caught up. And actually, to be fair, unless you have any others that you'd like to fill us in on, PT, in your manga journeys, because My Hero is actually one of them.
No. Please, I was going to say, please do. That is where I am currently at, and I have just got up to, if anybody, straight up as I always do, if anybody hasn't seen any of My Hero, they're interested in it, quick spoiler warning, right? PT coming at you with the spoiler warning now, so a quick little bit, and then we'll move on, so don't get stressy about it. I am currently at where the fucking agencies have just come together to go into the Shiha Kai, mate. Literally, just before we're going to get to see, like, Lemillion.
I love that part.
Busted. I love it. They have literally just like, you have to work as well, bang on. Going on the same train, that's weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've literally... Everybody has just come together ready to launch this operation. That's where I've just got to. So good. And at first, I really did back and forth about whether to start it from the beginning again. But I have to say, I'm genuinely so glad that I did, because you appreciate moments like the Midoriya Bakugo fight so much more when that tension builds from the beginning. But that's my piece now. That guy, please.
Sound.
Take it away.
Well, carrying on with My Hero, I got up to date with the anime quite recently. I started reading the manga, it must have been a couple of years ago now, isn't it?
It was a while back.
It was at least 2 years ago.
Got quite far in it and really enjoyed it. To be fair, I only started reading it to sort of be able to get involved in the conversations you was having at work. And I just fell for it and just went way ahead of where you guys was. And then after, talking about anime and such a bit more often with you guys, I thought I need to revisit this one because it's, how I feel about it. It's the Naruto 2.0.
Yeah, it's how I look generation's at it. Naruto.
Yeah, it's not. That's not a bad
100%.
thing. It's not a bad thing, but it just doesn't match up to Naruto. Is my problem because I'm always like, I've got that comparison in my head. Man. It's always going to lose in that fight, which is it's not the anime or the manga's fault. That's my fault, so I accept that.
Yeah, same here. Like everyone's got a favorite. Naruto is mine. So when it comes to, I don't compare other ones to it as much as I can because it's just not fair on whatever else it is because of my bias.
Like even the structure of it though, it's so many elements that have been, I feel, lifted from Naruto. It's hard not to do that if you've watched Naruto.
But surely it's hard not to look up to Masashi Kishimoto as a fucking absolute like personal hero and a mentor. If you are a manga artist, if you're an aspiring manga artist, to not look up to people like Tite Kubo, do you know what I mean? Masashi Kishimoto, if you're not looking up to these people, then it'd blow my mind, genuinely.
They are the gods, innit? They are the rock stars of that world.
Godfathers, man, this is it. Absolutely.
But I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it. And so I started the anime again, got right up to date. Prefer the manga, I do, but this is one that I've decided I am gonna exclusively do with anime. Never really decided that on something before. Yeah, I just decided just to carry on with that via anime. I can't even tell you how the end. It says season 5. This is the problem I have with it. I can't even tell you exactly how it ended, which doesn't.
I don't remember, man. It's been a long time since I watched it. It came out a long time ago now. I mean, the most recent season is literally the one we're talking about, isn't it? The one that I've just got up to. The most recent season is that whole operation.
Yeah, it's the back end of that and the aftermath.
And I know for an absolute fact, being at that whole thing, I'm sure by the time I was chapter 200 odd, I am sure that had long since finished, or it had finished absolutely, and it was moving on to the next thing by the time I'd sort of caught up. So being nearly 300 is definitely going to have pushed far ahead of the anime. But I'm invested enough to stick with it for sure.
Yeah, like I'd have to, as you've done with it, I'd have to go back to the beginning. And I just don't really want to do that,
which is not a bad thing. That is one thing I'll say, Jamie. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, you know, at end of the day, I won't beat around the bush. Yeah, getting through that initial, you know, the initial stuff and the fucking UA Sports Festival. It's all that.
Yeah.
So good.
You know, it's all that stuff that's kind of a bit of a, but. I think it's what makes that up. And I still love it. Like, you know, do not get me wrong, especially for any big, like, My Hero fans that listen, like, please understand, I do love it. But obviously, it's like me as the massive, like, Naruto bummer that I am. We've spoken about this. If you guys have been listening to the podcast, it may not be as clear. Even me as a Naruto, you know, absolute mega fan, I'm not going to go back and smash that diarrhea episode out. we've said this before, like, so it's one of those things, like, you know, there's certain things, like, I believe that you can only be a true fan when you can point these things out and say that wasn't great. Otherwise, you're just blindly following something, and there's no real substance to it. Do you know what I mean?
I'll be critical of it if you're passionate.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you have. Yeah, you've got to.
Yeah, I am gonna stick with it. I probably won't like be week on week and week watching it, but it's one that I am definitely gonna quite interested in the pacing of it more than anything. Want to see if they carry on normally or do a time.
I really want them to do a time skip, like not a massive one, but just give me like a year, maybe 2. Just give me third year of school for him.
See, I think the main thing I feel like so bad for you, Clockwork, about genuinely like only sort of sticking with anime and not like getting into manga is I feel terrible for you when you're sat spending half your season at some fucking, you know, beach vacation day, like to be. While I'm literally transitioning from arc to arc with absolutely zero friction, like we're talking one arc ends, you might get one chapter where it's like the whole, you know, we're moving on to this now, and then it moves on.
Yeah.
And that's just how manga is. It gets fucking on with it.
Zero latency, maximum megabits per second, mate. That is manga.
Yeah, except you know, there is the odd standout bit. If you start reading My Hero the manga, don't think you're getting away with the whose bedroom is the best.
Oh god, no, not that episode. Don't remind me that episode's a thing. Right?
So we've all moved into dorms, right? Let's have the competition. Whose room's best? Don't think you're getting away with that, right? Here and there, it does happen. But what I love about it is that the author recognizes that and he acknowledges it. Even puts a bit at the beginning saying, "Oh, we actually spending another 20 pages on this."
yeah. Actually, I remember that stuff. Yeah,
he actually does call it out. Yeah. He actually calls himself out on it, and he's just like, "Are we really doing this?"
I do love that sort of breaking the fourth wall type stuff, the self-awareness of it. Yeah,
and it does do that a lot. My Hero, it breaks the fourth wall a lot. Like they outright, like somebody will outright talk about how All Might is drawn differently than everyone else.
Yeah.
They literally point it out. Like, do you know what I mean? It's so good.
It's awesome stuff, but it's one that I am just gonna. It's not that I'm never going to do the. Sorry, I've just disconnected my headphones.
Good.
Bear with me. There we go. It's not one that I never will do the manga on, but I'm gonna see it through to its completion, anime, and then
hit the manga.
Probably do the manga. Yeah, but I have decided that I want to invest more of my Weeb time in manga again. I think when I first we first learned about each other and we was all into anime, that I was like, nah, manga's all the way. I was exclusively manga, and then over time I've drifted towards anime, haven't I?
Yeah, you have.
But,
yeah. So the funny thing is you're the kind of person, in my opinion, who your flame for manga never goes out. It just grows dim. And then I come along and start talking about it and fucking turn it into that blazing inferno. And then you're like, I need to get back on it. I need to get back on it.
Yeah. And I have stepped back on that train, in fact. And after watching Naruto, re-watching that and realizing that, you know, watching parts that I, in my head, don't think are going to be as entertaining as they actually are, because I love rewatching it. I'm going to go back to a manga that I've already done, and I think I mentioned it in the Discord, The Breaker.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that one is one that I thoroughly enjoyed, but I remember getting to a point where the writers just, look, we're going on a pause. We don't know how long we're going on. It's just, as it happens in mangakas, you know, it happens quite a bit. They get too ill to carry on and need to go on break.
Yeah.
And I waited a couple of years and nothing. I waited a couple of years and nothing was said ever about this manga. While I was browsing around, I thought, let me just see what's happened. Found a site that has it listed as completed. And
really,
the last chapter, but I don't know, because I mean, some sites might list it as completed because the creators just finished it and said that's it, done now, or the story complete. So went to the very last page, and I'm like, I don't recall anything like this, and what he's saying seems awfully rounded off at the end. Didn't fully understand it, obviously, so I've got back in contact.
Could be fan finished.
Huh?
Could be fan finished.
Ooh, that
happens sometimes, doesn't it? I mean, that's quite common in the fan fiction world. That's quite common, really. Like, if someone gets too ill, they don't finish something, a lot of people will like step up, and like a lot of fans will come together in a community and like finish it for them. Like almost in like, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, it ends up obviously being how they would want it to end, rather than like the author's vision.
That is a good point. I need to look into that then, because I was just gonna.
It could be.
Yeah, but I used to read it. Me and a friend that was also into manga back when I lived in Nottingham years ago. He used to read it as well, and I shouted at him. I was like, "Did you ever like get to the end of it?" It's like, no, it was on a pause, weren't it? I'm like, well, read this and get back to me if that's what you remember as the very ending. And he hasn't got back to me, so that says to me he's just sat in his cave reading it now.
It's like left you in the dust.
Yeah, so I've started right back at the beginning, and I don't know why I was so I don't think intimidated is the right word, but when I always thought about, I'm not one to rewatch or reread. It's sort of in my head, I think if I do that, I'm going to feel like I'm wasting time. If I'm willing to invest time in anime and manga, I need to consume new stuff because there's so much out there.
I'm all about the rewatch.
Yeah, but come back, rewatch Naruto, sort of, okay, that wasn't as sort of anxiety causing as I thought it was going to be. And I'm like 4 chapters into The Breaker and loving it. To be honest with you, it's slightly better than the first time because the excitement comes in a little bit earlier. You know what I mean? When you first see that character, and obviously there's a character in it, he's introduced completely opposite to what he's really like. You see little signs of his badassness. Yeah. And by the time you don't know that's his badassness coming through. So now I'm like, oh, I'm tensing up because I know what he's capable of, even though, like, so, and I never had that the first time I read it.
I don't think a year will go by where I don't like reread through Naruto or something like that.
Seriously,
like through the series. Absolutely,
all about that rewatch.
Like, I will happily burn through it. I mean, man, seriously, like it has taken me, easily no more than a week. I doubt it's even that. It can't even be a week for me to get to like chapter 130 odd of My Hero. I'll burn through, man, before you know it. Seriously, I burn through manga, like just absolutely on a drip.
I can't wait just to get back into it. Obviously, there's a site that I used to use back in the day. This is like before Crunchyroll and that were really around. It's one of those scan sites where they just scan on the chapters and somebody like puts the translations in by a computer, but I'm obviously going to do the right thing. I signed up to Funimation, so I've done the right thing via anime now. I'm going to do the right thing and get the Shonen Jump app. I've already actually downloaded.
Well, doing the right thing would have been critical.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, at least I'm not. At least I'm giving the money somewhere that's back into the community.
That's fair.
Man, I just can't, like, you know, bug either of you enough with like the Shonen Jump app. Like I've said to you, said to both of you, it is the cheapest thing I've ever like signed up to on a monthly payment. It's like, and I'm not kidding. It's the cheapest thing I've ever put money into, and it is just, there's so much on there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's literally getting released, like we're talking, when that new chapter gets released, it is there on the app on the day. You're getting them there and then. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't recommend it enough. If you're a manga fan, if you're wanting to get back into manga, man, that's the way to do it.
Definitely. I mean, what I've seen already, you've got your obvious ones on there. I haven't delved too deeply into its catalog to know if it's got some of the older ones that I'm into. Bearing in mind, because it was a scan site that I used to use, or various scan sites, like the licensing and publishing houses and stuff, none of that stuff mattered. There was no like exclusivity on platforms, it was on site. So if I want to reread ones that, like I mentioned it with you in it, some of them are considered manhwas, so Chinese. They're going to be on the Shonen Jump thing, because the Shonen Jump is tends to be Japanese stuff. From what I understand, I haven't dealt.
Well, this is the thing, man. The Shonen Jump stuff is the Shonen Jump stuff. Like, it is shonen manga.
Yeah.
That's what it's from. Do you know what I mean? It's literally from the magazine. As you would buy the magazine, and that would have one chapter in it from, however, I've never had one. I'm sorry, I'm wounded to say I've never owned the fucking magazine myself. But you have got like one chapter from numerous different manga, haven't you? You've got like one chapter from numerous different manga in it, and that's how it works. Do you know what I mean? So all those chapters that you would get in the magazine, boom, you've got them on the app. So anything that's coming out,
it was just those chapters. There was no, I wouldn't know which, if it came from a Shonen Jump publication, or if it came from another one, or if it was just like me neither. A catalog, or what did you call them, the annuals and things like that.
I mean, I promise you, it's got plenty on there that would keep you.
I mean, it's the first app I've installed in a while, and haven't instantly turned off the automated notifications after receiving the first one, because I hate that stuff. I'm like, I actually leave that there because I might want to check that out later on.
I only shoots them at you very rarely. Like, genuinely, I had one today, actually. Like, the Shonen Jump only throws one at me very rarely, and when it does, it's either telling me about something brand new or a new chapter of something that's come out, which might then actually be of interest to me, so I actually do look into it.
I mean, I don't know if it's early days, I'm just allowing it because I'm excited to get back into manga, but it's giving me one notification. Normally by now, I'm like, right, go into the settings and turn it off, and that notification actually prompted me to get into the app, and that has never happened with an app sending me a notification before. Not even eBay, when it's someone's like bought something or you've just won. I don't know, I'll check that later on, but Shonen Jump, I'll go see what that is straight away.
So I'll tell you both to get into for sure. Definitely.
So so I've started rewatching that, and I've also rereading that, but I've also rewatched, I watched Air Gear, the anime.
You mentioned that.
I read Air Gear very early. I feel Air Gear is part of what sparked that intense fire that was my love for manga, because the visuals, you know me, if something just looks cool and sleek and you can almost tell on sight, like Ryan's gonna like just that imagery because it's got that sort of style. This manga is just full of it. The anime, not so much, but I don't know. It never is, as we've discussed. It never really, the enemies never really compare. And because I read the manga so long ago and I loved it, I don't know if I sort of like made it better in my head and then watched the anime. I'm like, oh, come on. But I watched it all. By the end of it, I was enjoying it. Even I just accepted it's not going to live up to what the manga was. But essentially, it's about people that ride around on motorized rollerblades. And it's a bit more, there's a chosen one, and he's meant to be what they refer to the Sky King. He doesn't know it yet. His family are trying to keep him away from the truth of his fate and whatnot, but it's just as you imagine, like as in a pure manga fashion. It's people on rollerblades riding up walls and having battles in the air on them, and just the images of them flying through the air, the clothes flapping in the wind and stuff. I was like, wow, this manga stuff is beautiful. And it started me. I've actually got sketches in my I call them my life boxes of stuff that I just gather and take with me wherever I go. But years ago, when I first got into it, I would sit there at work in between calls when I worked in a call center and just sketch what I used to see on the screen. Some of them are quite good, particularly the ones from History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi, Air Gear, and Ice Shield 21, because I just used to spend so much time just reading those, and I got pretty good at drawing the flipping characters. And this is before I'd come across the mangas for Naruto and Bleach, which I was watching in anime form.
I do recall you saying that it's like an earlier one. I'm getting proper like Jet Set Radio vibes.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, even though,
without that sort
even though I'm not saying it is that.
I imagine it's that sort of street style, but
you know, like the big fucking skates and do you know what I mean?
You love this one as well, mate, because the ladies in this one, top shelf, matey, top shelf. And trust me, the anime and the manga know they are top shelf. It is one of the only, I've seen it in mangas before, where, you know, they're showing a bit of boobage or whatever, but they cover their nips some clever ways, a bit of fog, or it's just, you know, somebody's position just right. Nah, not in this, not in the manga, which I've seen before, but in the anime as well. I was expecting to see, like, there was in a bathroom scene, I was expecting to see some steam come across the boobs. Nah, just boobs on anime.
Yeah,
it unnerved me a little bit. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. Like,
you were fully expecting the sexy jutsu style clouds over the nips, weren't you?
Yeah, like, it's just just boobs. I'm like, oh, okay.
All right, there we are.
Like, it made me feel a bit like I, you know, some people just aren't comfortable with that for some reason. Like they just get cringe. Like, it is what it is. It's what I'm like. But for some reason, I felt like one of those people that were uncomfortable watching that stuff just because I wasn't expecting it. You know what I mean?
I know that I've just been like bonus.
Oh, mate, but it's the sort of thing where like they're having these battles and obviously getting clothes torn off and stuff like that in all the right places, the ladies, and like, so it's just got something for everyone. Intense action. There is like a little, you know, I don't really like this stuff, the love triangle, like he's not aware somebody likes him and
I'm not really into that. Cheeky little dipping a lewd in there. It's got everything you need out of something.
And when was it from? I want to say it's early 2000s, you know, the manga came out. I want to say it was like 2009. Stuff I was 2002 is when it started. It's about 2009 I came across it. Wonderful thing. If anybody gets an opportunity to read it, definitely do. If you're slightly interested, do the anime, but please don't judge it on the anime, because the anime finishes very early on, just like with Bleach. It finishes at a point where you're like, oh yeah, that was awesome, and it is sort of like a rounded finish. But then the manga continues, and you're like, oh, that was just like a precursor to this ultimate stuff. But watched all of that, and I'll probably maybe at some point in the future go back and read the manga again. But I want to get the breaker done first, definitely on manga. And that's me on anime and manga, mate. Caught up now.
Fair. So I mean, the Genshin
in the room.
Yeah.
Indeed. Clockwork. Where are you at?
I just hit rank 27 the other night.
Nice.
So I'm getting there. I'm smashing through that story as well. Like, I'm loving every second of it.
I need to carry on with it, to be fair. I've had a couple of missions just sat chilling. Yeah, I've had a couple of missions just sat chilling. I need to get back on that bad boy. And carry on through the main storyline. I've just been sort of like tying up loose ends, doing bits and bobs, and
that's what I'm trying to do now, because obviously I've reached that point where I can't carry on with the main story till I hit adventure rank X. So now I'm on that side questing and exploring hype again.
Yeah, I was going to say you need to do, I think it's add rank 30 you'll probably need before you can do something else.
So I've ruined myself on it, to be honest with you.
Aye, what have you done?
Not really ruined myself, but obviously I started on PS4.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Jumped over to the PC version. And I enjoyed it even more because it runs. It's the first
like butter, mate. I told you, didn't I?
Before this on PC, the only other thing I've played on PC is Among Us, right? So I've
it's
never
the first real game you've played.
If you want to call it that, you want to say, because it's also available pretty much the same on Android. So is it a PC game?
I mean, it is really. I mean, it's definitely more than it is a phone game. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked because obviously I played it on the Android. As soon as when I first came across it, was
I'm over the moon that they link over because, like I say, it gives me the opportunity to do stuff if I'm away from home and I can't do like my dailies and shit, and like obviously get my Welkin blessing and
I wish I could link mine. I really wish I could. It's the downside of playing on PS4 is you can't link it to the mobile.
It's wounding that.
The first place I ever saw this Genshin Impact was on the ads before I subscribed to Funimation. I saw an ad and it was always an ad for an Android game.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's not going to look like that if it's on Android. Why are you lying to me? That's a full game.
Man, I expected it to be one of them typical like idle fires. It wasn't until
you told me about it. You told us both about it. I was like, wait a second, I'm sure that's like some BS Android game. If it's free, I'll give it a go. And my
blew me away.
I think I ruined myself on it is, as you know, I didn't really progress through the main story pretty much at all when I was playing on the PS4. I just carried on just roaming and just doing.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what
I did.
A long
time, and now,
now you gotta do it again.
That's how I enjoy playing games. But I'm roaming and stuff, but it's nothing new now.
But it will get new though. This is what you've got to forget. It will get new.
100%. Because I only got to like rank, I want to say like 12 on the PS4. I'm rank 6 now on the
on PC. Yeah,
but like it's taking the enjoyment out of just roaming. I need to get past that bit, if you know what I mean.
Just seriously, man, push
more of it because I unlocked like pretty much everything the game would allow me to without progressing through this story. Got as much of the map unlocked and stuff. I can't really tell you how far I got and how many missions I got on the PS4 versus what rank I was at.
But I bet you didn't see half a leeway, did you?
Mate, to be fair, I unlocked areas twice, and on both times I was like, damn, I was not expecting this game to be that big. I thought the first little, like when you go to the main city, I can't remember what it's called, and then it lets you out to start.
Mondstadt,
And I'm like, okay, once you unlock the few places it already lets you, once you go to the teleporter, the statues it lets you go to straight away. I'm like, okay, it's not a bad, for a free game, this is, I'm very impressed with the size of this map. And then you unlock some more. I'm like, damn. Like, why don't they want any money out of me for this? They should well within their rights to take some money out of me if you want. And then boom, it opened up a little bit more. I'm like, Jesus, what are they doing? Are they already got my details and are charging me for this? Because there's no way. It's coming free. Like, and it doesn't even try to
best free game I've ever played. I think
doesn't even try
best free game I've ever
convince
played.
you into buying stuff either. That's what
it doesn't.
I know, no, it doesn't. It doesn't throw ads up in your face like ever. Like it never drops anything in your face. It never nudges you to spend money. I have never played a better free game, honestly. Like gameplay, graphics, just everything about it appeals to me. You can spend money if you want, but it doesn't throw it in your face. It's just the most incredible concoction of sugar, spice, and all things nice.
I would definitely recommend if anybody's interested in this game, try it on the PC if you can before the PS4.
And with you saying about how obviously the map is massive, you've unlocked all the map by this point, Clockwork, now? You've done you've got all like the statues of the 7, you've unlocked everything. You know, as it connects Mondstadt to Leeway, you've got like the sort of the bottom of the snowy mountain.
The Storm Terror Mountain.
Yeah, so getting out in 2 weeks.
I cannot wait.
Man, seriously, like you've got the 2 massive areas. They're adding a brand new area, and over the course of the game's life, they are going to add in all 7 lands. So literally, there is a land to represent every element. So you've got obviously Mondstadt and that area, which is your Animo. Then you've got Leeway and all around the countryside, which is your Geo. And then they're going to add in all the rest of them.
So
it's going to be massive.
Land of Wind at the minute, then, if I'm right. Or
Yes, so you are technically in the Land of Wind when you start. And then once you have done the whole Storm Terror stuff, it'll then encourage you in the main storyline to move into the Land of Earth, if you will. Village hidden in the stone.
You're currently in the sand.
Right. Does anybody know if you ever get your twin back? Yet.
I haven't gotten that far in the story. I don't know.
There's only one main thing I know about the main storyline that involves your twin.
Cool. We'll wait till
I know what has transpired. If you
okay.
if you don't mind sharing, not right now, because like that's not fair on people.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll happily tell you, man. Yeah, no problem. I'm not going to drop it now, of course. Clockwork and our dear listeners, but no, yeah, I'll definitely tell you, man.
My life, aren't I? So.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, all day long.
But yeah, Genshin is it's something I want to make more time than I currently have for. It's quite odd. I downloaded Just Cause in the Black Friday sale for the PS4, and I absolutely loved the second game and the third game, and I thought the first game on the original Xbox was good enough. And I got the full, complete, all DLC edition, everything, and I am still itching to play more Genshin and go on that, even though I know I am going to love that, being that one-man army on that game. It's just so much opportunity to look cool and take out bases and jump out of helicopters and blow stuff up on the way down. You know what I mean? I love all that stuff, but I'm just like, let me slowly roam around the beautiful land of Genshin instead. You know what I mean? Like,
I've just never been a Just Cause fan.
Yeah, it's not. Let's say it's like dubstep. No offense to anybody that likes dubstep, but dubstep, I can get down with it and it's good and it's fun and whatever, but I'm never really going to put any dubstep track in my top 10 of music. So I really do like Just Cause. It is a great game. It is an awesome time sink. Lots of action, but it's just lacks substance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know
more like a tech demo game rather than an actual completed game.
Yeah, is what we can do. So,
I'm not gonna lie. I tried starting a new playthrough of Mass Effect recently, and just found myself drifting back to Genshin again.
Really? I know it's difficult, man. At the minute, it's difficult, but of course, hype. Tomorrow is finally the day. Cyberpunk 2077.
Finally coming out. Oh damn!
Tomorrow, mate. Tomorrow's the day. Yeah, tomorrow's the day. I reckon I'm going to, probably fire it up on stream. Yeah,
I'm interested. I probably will kick myself with this one again, because I did with The Witcher 3. I was like, everyone went crazy for The Witcher. I'm like, I'm not really into those games.
Yeah.
Got hold of a copy cheap, and I was like, damn, why did I not even try this?
Oh, it's an unbelievable game, man. I mean, I think the thing with Cyberpunk is because it's been knocked back so many times and stuff, and like the hype around it, it's kind of like killed my boner for it a bit. But I'm still super excited for it. Still really looking forward to playing it and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. But I think because of how it's just been strung along, and no matter how long it's been strung along, people have still just constantly been just, just gagging on it constantly. You know, it's kind of, it's
delay hype back in the day.
Used to kill a game, didn't it?
No. I mean, PS2 to 360 era or original Xbox to PS3 era. Start of that, it sort of did the game favors. I mean, back then, like it would increase the hype, but now it causes sort of frustration.
I think the main reason, because these days every knobhead's got a voice.
Saying that, how many times has it happened though? Saying that, a game's been delayed, and then it's been released, and it's still not finished. Final Fantasy 15. I waited 10 years for that game. Got it pre-ordered, got the ultimate best bundle thing and everything.
Oh, bro!
And then it came out, and it's got like a massive patch before on release day, like early morning, like early hours release day. So that patch has been developed after you've shipped the game to the shops, and you know what I mean, been set live on sale day. And then you're adding bits in later on that it's bits of the story, cutscenes. You're adding it's not added features, but you're adding cutscenes to explain the story, because you know what I mean. That should never happen. If a game has been delayed, even just once. If it's been delayed once, it needs to be 100% complete.
Man, that's the kind of stuff you put in Genshin. Yeah. You're not paying any money.
I expect it of Genshin.
And they're adding stuff as time goes on, and you can choose to put money in. Don't make someone pay full price for a quote-unquote finished game, and then be like, oh, by the way, boys, we forgot more money.
And
that's not how it works.
That game as well did a dirty thing with the flipping DLC as well, because you play through the game. They may be spoilers here. I don't think this counts as a spoiler, but Final Fantasy 15 spoilers, just take it as that. midway through the game. So you and your band of merry men are traveling around, and at one point or another, each one of them just disappears for a reason. The first guy, he literally goes, I'm not even lying to you, right? The first guy literally is, right, okay, you've just done this major thing in the game, so right, I've got to go and deal with some business. I'll be back later. And the guys are like, okay, see you later. And then he just disappears for a portion of the game, and you actually progress through the main story without him. And then he comes back later, and you're like, oh, so what was all that about? And they're like, don't worry about it. And then that is DLC 1. What he got up to is DLC 1. You follow him, DLC 1. The second guy, he gets split up from the group, and then he joins us later on. So at least that sort of isn't so much a slap in the face. He fell off a train. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. And then the second DLC's the third guy. Right, so in the part of the game where he disappears off, might be a spoiler. He disappears off a part of the game, gets blinded, and then comes back. Nobody explains why he's blind. Now you gotta get the third DLC. You know what I mean? That was the downturn of Square Enix. I'm sorry, like you can't do that.
That's some fucking Battlefront bullshit. That do you know what I mean? Like releasing the DLC and then basically releasing the main game as DLC.
That is some EA trickery.
And then you get the DLC because obviously I've got the season pass. You know me, I'm a Final Fantasy fanboy. You get the DLC and it doesn't actually add anything to the story. Like, you know what? It didn't really matter what you did and disappeared for to me.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the whole, he did this, which led to this not happening later. He's a hero. No, it was just like, fucking mate pops to the pub situation. Like, you didn't need to see it, but we showed it you anyway. Sounds more like filler than DLC.
Mecha Naruto bullshit.
And this DLC that was being developed after release, they admitted to this as well. So they've developed a game where they've left the guy out or made him absent for a part because that's going to be DLC, but they've not even finished that DLC by the time they release the fucking game. The final product, as it is now, is awesome. I thought it was brilliant from the get-go, but I can't, like Final Fantasy 15, I can't argue against the arguments against it, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, you're well in your rights to hate it because of that. Yeah. But it's a bit like No Man's Sky.
Like the most catastrophic fuck up to begin with. Like, I've never known a game go from so fucking horrendous to so incredible. Like, truly, because I'm a, I've not played it in a while, but I'm a big No Man's Sky fan, as you well know. Put a lot of time into that game. I'm a big fan of it, so I definitely stand behind it now, and I definitely believe that the developers did exactly what any developer should do in that situation. And every time a new update comes out, everything's free. Everything's free because they know they fucking spat in your face way back when.
That was another game, actually. I remember hearing about that game when it was still a small indie thing. Sony hadn't picked it up. It was watching some stuff about E3, and somebody mentioned it as a game they're excited about, but yet it wasn't really on show at E3. So I did my digging, and I'm like, mate, procedurally generated, first time I heard about that, space exploration, anything could happen. Even if there is no point to the game, exploring space forever, no end. You know what I mean?
Too right,
I got the game and I was like, I love this. And I put the game down, made all the hype about it being terrible before the first update came out. And I'll be honest with you, haven't been back to it since. But I know that I am going to be blown away when I go back to it, just because of what I've seen about it and whatnot. But it's a game that I know I need time put aside on a weekly basis at least to invest in.
Oh god, yeah, you do. Like, it's not the kind of game that you jump on and sort of just play for a little bit. It's definitely a game that you put a session in on it. For me, anyway.
That's the way I look at it, really, to be honest with you. It's downloaded in my library. All the updates are free and stuff, so I'm not really. There's no pressure. It's not giving me any anxiety, feeling like I'm missing out on it.
Yeah,
which is good.
Absolutely.
Which is good.
Too right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think we've covered everything that we was going to cover, unless anybody's got any other gaming news. I'm looking at you, PT, because you're the king of recommendations for me at the moment.
Mate, no, I think we're fully up to speed. Apart from genuinely looking into Cyberpunk, there is nothing else on my radar at the minute. To be fair, it's been a bit of a problem, even though I'm still very much enjoying Genshin. Recently played through Vanquish again on stream, which is a fantastic game. Super Japanesey Sega game. Amazing. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you do. Aside from that, I've been struggling with what to play and what to jump on. I really have.
It's that was before Christmas, isn't it? It is.
I will let you. I'll let you. Obviously, I'll let you guys know what Cyberpunk's like. And yeah, of course, like I say, I'll be on stream at some point tomorrow, checking it out. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, then. I think we'll get wrapped up there then.
Lovely job.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight, guys. I have been Clockwork Nerd as always.
I have been that guy. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
And I have been PT64. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for listening to us ramble on about all this weeby good shit. It's a pleasure. We love you. You know this. And we will catch you next time.
Next time, guys.
Peace.